Alrighty, YouTube. In today's video, as you can see by the title, I want to cover Black Clover's newest chapter, 367, and to discuss the very controversial part of Asta using the Demon Drawer sword to share his anti-magic power with the Black Bulls. And as we can see, they're clearly using their magic with anti-magic. With, for example, you look at Luck, he has anti-magic, lightning gloves on, the black wool, and so on and so on. So a lot of people in the community is freaking the hell out, like, yo, Tabata, the hell you doing? This makes zero sense. You whip this out your ass. No, like, this is impossible. This go against everything we fought about with anti-magic. And truly, I just wanted to point out how I personally think this isn't an ass pull and can actually be relatively explained. I think there's a lot of big misunderstanding with anti-magic as a whole, and I wanted to cover that in today's video. So without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. And we'll start with the major points. So the first part is the foreshadowing of how Asta is able to do this with the Demon Drawer, because some people in the community doesn't believe that's the power of the Demon Drawer sword. Second point is how can anti-magic work with magic at all? Uh, and third point is just overall explaining how magic as a system in Black Clover works, which we learn a lot of this information in the Land of the Rising Sun arc. And due to the different names used like your jutsu and so on, instead of using magic and stuff, was intentional by Tabata to kind of make things kind of vague while also giving us a roadmap to how the magic system truly works in this universe, which can potentially explain how Asta is able to do all of this. So point one I want to get into is the Demon Dweller. People are just going like, yeah, no, this doesn't make sense. This is impossible. The Demon Dweller is only shown to absorb magic and shoot it out. First off, that's just not true because it can also absorb anti-magic and shoot it out. Not only can it absorb anti-magic, magic, and shoot out, but we are told during the Elf arc versus the Word Demon by I forgot what his name was. The Raya, yeah, Raya stated that the true ability of the Demon Drawer is to share one's power with everyone you are close to. We see Lick do this to share his power with all the elves to be able to survive the weird goop stuff that the Word Demon summoned that can eat all magic and life force. So that has definitely been foreshadowed that this is one of the abilities of the sword, and Asta is shown to use abilities of the sword, such as when Asta can use the Demon Destroyer sword to remove, causality from a reality. So, yes, he can do shit. So the second point I want to get to is, can magic and anti-magic work? People are saying things like, well, we're told that anti-magic destroys all magic, period, and that only people who are magicless like Asta can control anti-magic. So the first thing I want to bring up is the statement of only people who has no magic whatsoever can control anti-magic. And the reason why this is kind of false is just the pure fact that this is coming from the Witch Queen, who would be an unreliable source here. The reason why she would be an unreliable source here is she does not know anti-magic in the full of everything. We are being told countless time anti-magic is this very great unknown entity. So how the hell would this bitch know all of it? She is probably assuming the fact that the reason why Asta can use anti-magic with zero downsides is due to the fact that, has no magic. He is not affected, which is true. It's the fact that Asta is just very effective at using anti-magic due to the fact he's magicless, not the fact that only have to be magicless. So, and also, we do know for a fact that anti-magic and magic can exist in the same body due to the very canon Black Clover movie that just came out, where we see Asta having a insanely high amount of anti-magic in his body, using the Imperial Sword imbuing magic into his body, working in harmony. Hell, we see Asta often use the sword to absorb magic and shoot it back. and the sword or themselves are imbued with anti-magic at all time. Hell, for the majority of the series before Asta has a contract with Libe, the only reason why he has anti-magic is because he is absorbing the backwash of the anti-magic imbued into the sword into his own body. So the only reason why he has anti-magic because he's taking it from the sword, which the sword is getting anti-magic from Libe. So to say that it's impossible to exist would mean it's impossible for the anti-magic sword, most the demon dweller, to absorb magic and shoot it out while it's imbued with anti-magic at all times. So that's another way to disprove that they can't exist in the same vessel. They very much can't. The only reason why we see Asta use anti-magic destroy magic, because that's just one of the function. Think of magic as positive and anti-magic as a negative. They can exist in the same vessel, but once they come together, they cancel out. So it's a function of anti-magic if you choose to do it. So that's another thing. Keep in mind about how anti-magic works. It doesn't inherently always destroy magic. And the only reason why we see it always destroy magic with Asta case is due to the fact that it's stated many times in the novels, in the manga, and especially in the recent arcs, that Asta's control of anti-magic is absolutely dog shit. He has zero control of it for the majority of the series, until he has the training from the Heart Kingdom, where his control of anti-magic exponentially improves to the point where he's able to call the demon dweller and all the other just anti-magic swords by their name and fly on them. So do keep in mind that Asta is constantly improving his ability to control magic. Not only is he always anti-magic, my bad. He's always improving his ability to control anti-magic. So that's why it's often in this berserk-like form where we usually see the anti-magic more primal form not being controlled, where it's naturally gonna, just like negative and positive molecules, they're gonna try to come together and cancel each other out in that sense. So the third point I wanted to make is talking about how the magic system works in general by using the Rain and Light and Sun, where we learn a lot of information about how the system truly works. So think of spells as the input. Alright? So humans use mana, which is magic power, to fuel their spells to create a spell. Pretty self-explanatory. So their spell is just the end result of them using the mana inside their body as energy conduit. So they're using the mana as a energy conduit to produce their spells. We also learned that humans subconsciously control their mana in their body using ki. Then you can have the further step of a more enhanced version of mana control by using ki to create the Zetten technique to amplify your magic power for a far more stronger effect in your spell. So this is how magic power is usually shown. So you take magic, the energy, and spells the machine to create the function of the machine. So right here, what we're seeing here with the Black Bulls, with Asta sharing his anti-magic power with all of his comrades, is instead of them using mana to power their machine, aka their spells, they're using anti-mana or anti-magic to power the spell. So it's not the fact that it's impossible, like it can make sense. That's the entire point of Tabata setting up the concept of your jutsu and the entire explanation, all telling us that the power source does not mean it's the spell. Like you can have spells with a different power source here. Hell, Zetten is a magic technique that Asta uses with anti-magic. The swords that Asta use are magical items that we see Lick use magic to to perform the effect. So like we see Lick do the Zorb to shoot out, share his mana, probably did the causality break effect of the Demon Destroyer. Instead of using anti-magic like Asta is, he just used mana for the same effect. So it's just changing the power source. And that's, I'm telling you what's going on here with the Black Bulls. Asta is just simply replacing their power source with anti-mana or anti-magic to create their spells and power them, which is insane, by the way. Like, Libe has never been shown to run out of anti-magic. Asta never ran out. Libe never ran out. We have him facing people like Lucifero, who has by far the most magic we ever seen, and is able to cancel all their magic by just flowing his anti-magic into him, and to like purposely have it cancel out. So like we have Libe, who is just anti-magic devil, who might have like an infinite source of anti-magic, now given that infinite source and allowing the Black Bulls to power their magical spells instead of using their own mana, which is definitely why there's a power increase. So it is definitely possible. I truly think this is what's going on with here in the chapter. This is why I don't think it's an ass pull. And also, I'm gonna leave it here for the discussion, and I hope to see you guys comment on the video. You know, like, sub, and so on. Support me, please. It helps out a lot. I would love to continue this discussion. But one thing I really want to point out as a big possibility, which is where does mana come from? Because, you know, Tabata's one of his biggest influence is Bleach. And I personally think mana is coming from the soul. And we see this from the fact that whenever a character has a soul change in a body, Patri and William, or Yuno in, you know, Elf Yuno, is a change of magic type. So William, World Tree, Patri, Light. Yuno's Elf, Wind. Yuno himself, Star. So I wonder if it's possible that mana is simply soul magic, and then you have ki, which is which is stated to be using the body natural sources to control everything, like the five senses and stuff like that. You can see this from Yami in the very start of the story, explaining ki to Asa, using the five senses, using your physical attributes and all this other shit. So ki is very physical, where I think mana might be soul base. And you guys are probably thinking, well, how the hell does mana exist everywhere, though? What is mana zone? How is that possible? So the reason why I bring up Bleach as an inspiration for Black Clover is there's a concept of the Fullbringers in Bleach, where everything has a soul. Everything has a soul that can be manipulated. So if there's a soul, magical power is there. So you can always look at it as, when people use mana zone, they're using the mana power generated from the soul of the environment itself, or simply just use the mana of the plant life and other, you know, life in the area to fuel themselves even stronger. So you can always look at it like that, which then bring in back to that mana and anti-magic are simply power conduits of different forms of power that cancel each other out naturally when they come together. And ki is what humans use to control that natural power that is generated, either from magic mana, you know, generating the mana from your own soul, or using the environment to use that mana, then using your ki to take all that and manipulate it to how you can, aka your spells. And there we go. It's just like works like that. You just use ki to manipulate mana to make a spell, just like how Asta can use anti-magic to manipulate mana. I mean, anti-magic, my bad. I mean, ki to manipulate anti-magic to create anti-magic spells or ability, which we're probably going to see soon. Alright, Asta has stated to vastly grow his understanding of anti-magic control due to his greatly vast understanding of ki control now. So I'm definitely excited to see what's next. And this is a very lengthy video to explain. No, Asta sharing his anti-magic is not a ass pull, is not a retcon or contradiction. It has been foreshadowed. It is constantly showing that anti-magic itself, by the way, is a mysterious source that we don't know much about. Slowly increasing our understanding of the power system in the world, which he set up in the Land of the Rising Sun arc, explaining to us how your Yojutsu work and so on, which is just telling us how magic works. and show how magic and anti-magic doesn't function too differently, and they can function in the same exact way. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, if you guys enjoy the video, please like, sub, comment down below your opinions, and I would love to have a discussion, so please keep it nice, and I would love to see you guys next time. Have a good night.